Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncover Session, your neighborhood discussion where you join us about literally everything about life. I'm your main host for today. I'm Jeremy, and I have with me,
Hi, I'm King Hong.
and today we have a guest on the show. Let's roll the intro. So today we have with us Genel Tan.
Hello.
Is that all you're gonna say?
Hello, thanks for inviting me.
Anyways, we have today with us Genel, who has been my friend for around it's around like 7 years, right? 7 years.
Close to 7.
Capping off this year then capping off this year then it would be like 7 years. Yeah, I've known you since Form 1. And basically a brief introduction about you since you're so awkward.
Okay.
Jenna is basically the person I find a very mature person where I always talk to in order to seek advices, and also for her ideologies behind many kind of things where she sees different kind of things in a more mature perspective. But before going into today's topic, how are you coping with your studies?
It has been quite stressful since it's the COVID and we are all in lockdown. We bounced back. We used to have like single digits and we actually had a little tiny bit of a freedom to go out and still just meet each other. But it bounced back. I'm just stuck back here doing online classes. So it kind of sucks. But it's close to the ending of my semester now, so I'm glad that it's over.
How has studies been for you? I mean, how are you coping up with it? Did you have your finals online or haven't you had it yet?
My finals is starting in about 2 weeks' time. Next week is just like our revision week before it starts. It's quite stressful, yeah.
How's prep for it?
I would say that, I really slacked off compared to being in like physical classes, but I'm still trying my best to, get everything focused on myself and also the studies.
I mean, the last time I text you, you were saying that you had like online tests, right?
Yeah.
Was it some online testing?
Yep.
How did you do in it? As in on an online basis in comparison to doing it in person?
Well, since online classes, my school, they changed it to more assignment based. So instead of just not like being able to refer to all those past papers and stuff, you can actually just search for a lot of answers online. So it has become like an open book assignment instead of just, yeah.
So is it in any way like easier?
Yeah, it definitely has been easier for all of us, I think. But I think distraction wise, online classes definitely is a distraction because we have access to so many social media platforms. Like it can be like games, can be music, So you can be attending a class, but still your mind is not in the class. Yeah.
Anyways, I've invited you today for a very special reason because you are one of the person I know when it comes to being confident about yourself. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, really?
Isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, in comparison to maybe it's because that I know I've known you for across like 6-7 years, so we've been very close, and I know most of the stuff about you. But I mean, when it comes to confidence, you are the first person that I think of. Although of course there are some setbacks and places where you fall as well. But then I mean, what do you think about life today on the social media, as in, because nowadays technology has brought social media, a wide range of social media to us in many various platforms. how do you think the life is for us as teenagers on the social media platforms today?
I would say it's definitely challenging since, social media keeps evolving to different stuff. We follow different trends as teenagers. We we want to keep up with the trends. Like if you don't keep up with the trends, people will be like, "Oh, wow, why are you like that? Why are you so like outdated and stuff?" So I think it's definitely really challenging. Most of us feel pressured to keep up with it, but for some people, they don't really want to bother it because, they don't think of this standard as a need to follow. So I'm glad that this kind of people, they think this way. But there are some people that they just feel really insecure in themselves, which is quite normal in this generation. And I hope that, this can change.
I mean, like you said, many people are quite insecure about themselves from the various social media platforms because of would I say is the amount of people that they follow, and it makes them to maybe to an extent jealous of what people possess despite being materialistic things or maybe beauty. But I mean, how do you think self-confidence has been influenced by these various social media platforms, especially when there are influencers around advocating on maybe beauty products or on materialistic things?
Yeah, so most of the like Instagram posts, you see, most people they just tend to look the best version of themselves. Every post has to be like really aesthetic looking. People, those models, Instagram models, they look like they have flawless skin. Their body is very snatched and stuff. But uh some people they do it because you influence people because you're an influencer, right? So you tend to want to look the best version of yourself. And some people like you don't people don't realize that those followers of those models, they may look at the person and be like, why don't I look like this? Why don't I look like this girl? Why don't I look like this guy? Why are they so tall? They're so skinny. Why don't like they don't have like acne on their skin? Why do they not have scars? That is what those people in the beauty industry, they don't portray this side of themselves because they fear judgment is what I would say. Yeah.
Would you think that is a flaw of the social media, as it doesn't portray the similarly it doesn't portray the flaw of the influencers and also just any users on the social media?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's a flaw. However, some models they do promote body positivity, but they're like the upcoming poses are just always really perfect. You know, they say that they are for body positivity, but when you scroll through that post, you still don't see much difference about it. That's what I think it's flawed here.
In extension from what you mentioned about body positivity, do you think that it makes sense to actually preach on something you don't practice? Because it's like many influencers, they advocate for different issues such as work hard, play hard, how, or maybe a term we use, flexing
Yeah.
on their beauty, flexing on materialistic stuffs. But it is actually just a side of them where they show in order to attract more followers,
Yeah,
more
definitely.
likes. But how do you think it would affect
Yeah.
the users who are not much of influencers?
Well, so for like normal people like me and you, we scroll through a lot of influencers, a lot of celebrities, a lot of models. Some people will not get affected by it. They will just think of social media as social media itself, like how it's normal for people to portray the best version of themselves. So some of a portion of them, they just think of it as an entertainment and they just look at it as it is. But to dig deeper, some people, I think a majority, they take this very seriously. Like they constantly want to be like them, constantly want to follow them. A lot of things happen, such as makeup products. People don't really want to buy those cheap quality ones. They always need to get those like very expensive, very high quality kind of makeup. Well, sometimes both the cheaper one and the expensive makeup, they weigh the same. Like they serve the same purpose. It's just that it's due to the brand. Like they want to chase like clout. Yeah.
But I mean, in this context, I mean, you know, previously when it comes to things about makeup and skincare, you are the person that I consult. So I've always had this question in mind where you know how the influencers they are the ambassadors, also sponsored by the various beauty products or stuff like that, but then how does it really differentiate from, like, let's say the cheaper beauty products, or is it actually the same purpose or something?
It's kind of like hard to just say it. You really have to try out like each and every one of the product to be able to really give like a legit review on it. But since that, so many so many people promote the same thing, some people will just think that it's good either way. Like let's say that if like a model promotes this product and a lot of people does the same thing, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, maybe I should get it because a lot of people are promoting it. And when they actually like use it, they might not think that it's the best for them, but they'll be like, oh, it's okay, since it's branded, so I don't really mind that it causes like something. They don't really want to complain about it.
For
Yeah.
females, all these influences would come from more of a beauty side of the social media. Whereas because for males, correct me if I'm wrong, Keng Hong, for males, we look at influencers more of an admiration, or more of an admiration towards the materialistic wealth. I mean, Keng Hong, how would you see this problem as in the perspective of males?
From the perspective of males, I would say that yeah, I do agree that people also do. But for guys, maybe we all look at the more materialistic things: their cars, their wealth, their money, anything that's material. Bigger house, you would be much more interested in looking at that. And you also see like things such as maybe their cars, but cars they own. Then also things like even like body fitness also is something that people would look at. I mean, I admit that I look at guys who are really fit and like, wow, it's so cool, that kind of thing.
Because, like, I think body fitness is one thing that everyone admires, especially if the guy has like a very toned, very fit body and like abs and stuff like that. But does that also apply to females? Because I read a lot about self positivity and body confidence. What is body confidence actually?
I think body positivity means that you feel good in your body. You don't try to let, other standards get in your way. Like, so what if you eat like junk food? So what if you drink like soft drink? It's what I want to eat. I know my body best. So I'm just doing it. I don't try to like overeat, or I don't undereat. I just feel, if I feel like eating, I will. If I feel like exercising, I will. I don't need people to tell me like you should lose weight, you're too fat, you're this, you're that. So I feel like if you don't let this kind of things just go around your mind, and you just do what's best for you, but it's also important to not overdo it, because exercising, it's really important to you. I mean, important for you. You can eat what you want, but you have to make sure that you don't overdo it, or else you will be more stressed, and it will lead to stress eating, which is even worse. Once you stress eat, You will indulge in everything. You can eat like day and night, and it will just accumulate. And when in the end, when you really feel like you're in that state of like or frustration, you will just not be like positive again. So I do feel like it's important to both eat and exercise. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to eat really like small portions. You don't have to exercise for like 5 hours a day and stuff. Just keep everything to a moderation, and I think everyone is good to go.
Yeah, I agree with what Janelle said also. What I have seen, like, because I used to do quite a lot of sports also, from what I've seen, people just eat. They just eat what they eat. They don't really diet or anything. You just eat, and then as long as you, as long as you don't, you know, overeat or just like let yourself go, then you should be fine. Because my friends eat a lot. I eat a lot too.
I mean, I guess it's about the balance between
Yeah.
your diet, what you eat, and and your physical activity. Because, like, I was watching a Taiwanese show, and it's about health, and there was this doctor who was actually a nutritionist, where he advised on actually eating whatever you feel like, as long as you balance it out with your physical activity as well. Because sometimes I would say that the concept of having a food pyramid is over glorified to the extent where I don't think is healthy as well.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you said that the food pyramid is over glorified. I mean, I don't think it's over. It may be, it may be over glorified in what you're trying to say. But I feel that it's also it's still a good guideline to keep. Just a good guideline.
That's true that it is a guideline because that is what we are taught since when, I don't know, primary school or maybe even
Forever.
back to kindergarten. Yeah, we are taught about that forever. But I mean, because to some extent, some people view it as a way of life. I mean, it's not bad to have it as a way of life, but is it okay to have like cheat days, as in just going out with your friends for maybe fast foods and stuff like that?
Definitely, it's fine. You don't really have to like strictly follow the food pyramid. You can go over it a bit, but not to the extent where it's too much.
Speaking of diets and physical activities, I mean, is there any specific way of physical activities that you guys think is a perfect balance towards diet, especially in the context of, you know, the MCO, the coronavirus? Since, I mean, because we don't really get much space for physical activities, especially since we are in our own homes, and then some of us are having online classes and are in our rooms for more than 8 hours a day. So, I mean, physical activities definitely decrease. Is there any way you guys think that there could be physical activities to be done despite being stuck at home?
Yeah, I think that you still can work out even at home. It doesn't have to. You don't have to really use like gym equipments and stuff. Nowadays, even fitness people, they post fitness YouTube videos for free because of the lockdown. They provide free exercising and workout videos. I think it's a good way for you to just follow maybe 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be like workout. It can be in a form of yoga. It can be Pilates. You can also do like walk up and down the stairs or just walk around the house. That counts as physical activity as well. It's not about the space. I think it's more about how you try to optimize what you have at your home.
And also, I think it's like the mentality of because some people, they would give an excuse that because we are stuck in our home, so there is no space for physical activities to be done and stuff like that. And also, a majority of guys would think that yoga and Pilates are more of a female stuff.
Yes.
No,
I mean, I agree. It's an impression that you get, yeah, but then it's definitely not something you would follow. Sorry, Genel.
yeah, a lot of people mistook yoga and Pilates as like a girly kind of workout. It's definitely not this way. Yoga, definitely like it doesn't actually work and tone your muscles a lot. Rather, it helps you to focus on your mind, relax your muscles, makes you more zen and more calm. Because I've personally done a few yoga videos. I follow yoga videos during this lockdown. And I think that I am more calm right now compared to when I have uni classes in my own university, which I don't even have time to exercise. So I was really tensed up that time. Right now, I feel more calm with online classes. I can just chip in a 1 hour yoga routine before or after my classes, and I will just be more calm. Yeah, basically.
Speaking of the influence of social media on today's life, let's drift into something more different
Oh, yeah, sure.
because it is a trend nowadays. I mean, even Facebook has introduced it about dating online. The misconception of dating online is that it is solely for people who are desperate of getting into a relationship. But what do you guys think of the usage of apps such as Tinder or Tantan or etc.?
I think that online dating now it's a bit, it's a bit risky, but you can do it. It's not like, since it's lockdown, it will be hard for you guys like if you were to online date, it will be hard for people to actually meet in real life. I think it can be a good platform to just get to know more people and maybe potentially you can find someone you share the same interests with.
For me, I think online dating is. I don't really have much of an opinion on online dating. I feel that yeah, a for me, it's just that it's a medium that if people can't really manage to find people in real life, they can use the apps that they like Tinder and sales to find people who are nearby or who may have an interest or share the same interest. Then you could find someone.
Like Genel mentioned, there would be a risk behind it because you won't actually know who you are contacting or who you are actually sharing your interest with over the internet in compared to real life. So it's been very common and it's in the news everywhere. Males and females are getting conned, also scammed by the people that they know from this online dating platforms.
I feel like definitely you will encounter one or two catfish. I think the best method is to just try to engage in a longer and deeper conversation, and maybe if both of the party are ready, they can take a step further. They can do a voice call, and maybe just uh, advance to video call. So I think it will be hard to con people with using a voice call. So I think that you can try to make sure that this person is legit as what he says in his profile and try to just video chat and stuff. I think that will really prevent from people catfishing. So even if they just try to be dodgy, they always decline, then you will know like it's a sign that he or she might not be what like they are expected to be.
Speaking of dating, we all have one thing in common, which is expectations about looking for someone who fits our criteria. And this often changes across time because of maturity and also maybe past relationships where you found out, hey, this wasn't the criteria that I wanted. Tell me about your expectations or the criteria that you look for in someone, or do you even have them?
Oh, when I was like younger, I used to not really have a criteria, you know. I just feel like if if you like this person and you have like a certain feeling, then maybe you can just go for it. But as like the more I grew up, the more I feel like you really have to set a criteria. Not to say like it has to be really big criteria, you know. You don't need to have like a list of criterias. Maybe just one or two things that you think it's really important to you. I think that's really important because you do not know what to expect from the other partner. So if you set like maybe like one or two criterias that are not like over the line, as in he has to be 6 tall, he has to be this, he has to look like this person, he has to really like be with me every day and stuff like that. You can just set something like, okay, is this person responsible? Is he a responsible dude? Does he make me feel like I am loved and stuff like that? So I feel like if this person fits in to your criteria, like a small list of criteria, then it might be worth giving a shot.
Because many people um mistaken criteria for being needy of something, because like many people think that criteria is just fitting someone that you want to be your other half, but in reality your other half would not 100% fit into your criteria itself. What do you think about that statement, Kang?
Um, what you said was a criteria, right?
As in, you have a set list of criteria
Mm-hmm.
that you set for your partner, as in, I want my partner to be this, I want my partner to be this, and this. However, it is a common thing where you get into a relationship and realize that your partner doesn't really tick all of your criteria. I mean, of course, there are most of it, but it doesn't really tick most of your criteria, check out most of your criteria. And some people might think that, oh, she or he isn't really the person I am looking for.
Okay. So my opinion on that is that a criteria, I try to not take things too seriously. I feel so. I even if I do have criteria, I will be just uh having most of it will be good, and sorry, having it as a I feel sorry, how do I say this? Mm, I feel that yeah, criteria is something that you should have, or something you should have, because you need to have like a good standard of what a person. Maybe you can't really have a person who is irresponsible also, so you have to have a set standard. Uh, yeah. Even if they don't fit your criteria, you can just work around it. Not everything is perfect, so yeah, just go with it.
Because I think the criteria also, it just serves as a foundation towards who you are looking for in order to stay with you in your life and to mature with. But it is not really a set base of something you have to check out in order to determine that person as someone you are really looking for. Because I mean, different people have different ways of establishing a criteria. For example, in my case, I don't know if I told you about this before, Genel, but you might know that I have a list of things which are stupid. Like a few years ago, if you remember,
I do. I
where I where I mentioned I wanted to date what the ethnicity must be what
Yeah. Yeah.
Taiwanese or Korean.
Yeah.
But I mean that those kind of criteria are set in an age where you are not matured.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, you do realize that it doesn't really matter, because all it matters is, despite your partner not being able to fit into most of your criteria, there has to be the presence of tolerance in order to sustain a relationship, right?
Yep, definitely.
How would you guys check off your criteria for a partner?
For me, I do have like one or two criterias. They are quite important to me because it's not like my criteria is not really about how you look, you know, how tall you should be and stuff. It's more about how you can make me feel like I am your girlfriend. So I think this my own criteria that I set is quite important. But if my other half doesn't really fit into it, I think I will just be more acceptive because even though he's not fit, he didn't fit into my criteria. I should just think about the other good things that he has and just try to make myself like be more acceptive of him basically.
How about you, Kengo?
For me, for now, I don't know. My criteria that I have is it's basically just how much I can get along with the person. I don't really have much of an expectation of who I or if I want. Because right now I don't really think I'll be dating or so. Just yeah, it's not something I'm looking for right now. Also, so even if it does happen, I mean anything can happen, right? I mean for me it's mostly just as long as I can get along with the person, it's fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, it seems like the criteria that we mentioned, like Genel mentioned, as your criteria is about how the guy makes you feel about your relationship, as in whether he's able to make you feel secure, right?
Yep.
So I guess criteria actually scales with maturity in a sense where, when we were young,
Yeah.
our criteria would be how tall, and then she needs to be pretty, he needs to be handsome, she needs to play this, she has to have this skill, he has to do that for me. But as we mature, we realize that it is more about how they make us feel about them. And also, most importantly, I think it's about ourselves.
Yep. Definitely.
Diverting from the criteria side, because the criteria, or let's say the expectations, are more on our personal perspective of view. However, our partner will also have different expectations and different criteria for us ourselves to be checked off from their list. And if our partner is so lucky to have the same maturity as us, that would be good because there would be an element of tolerance in the relationship itself. However, there could be some partners where they are forceful for their expectations on top of what you are doing. So, how would you live up to your partner's expectations, or rather, will you really change yourself if your partner mentioned that what you are doing is destroying your relationship?
Uh, I would say that I wouldn't immediately change for him, but I would just like have a conversation with him, like privately. I would just talk to him about what does he think like that what am I lacking in this relationship. If he thinks that like if he tells me about it and he thinks that I should change myself, then it's up to me if I want to change it or not. If I feel like yeah, he's true, it's correct. I think I have been like this. I think I should change. Then I might take the initiative to try to improve on that. Not to say change immediately entirely, but improve on what is lacking.
What about you, Kengo?
For me, I would take into account like what they are asking. Because if they're asking me to change something is that I know is not a very good thing, like maybe certain habits or something like that. If I know and if I agree that it is a bad thing, then yeah, then I will work towards changing that part of me. But then if it's something that I think that it shouldn't cause a problem, or I feel that it's something that is like fundamental to me, something like that. I am not really sure how to say this.
Something that's important to you as your identity, you mean?
I guess that. I guess so. Yeah, and I would be more hesitant to change that. But then again, we have to. Yeah, I guess like Genel said, have to talk it out and see how it goes. See what happens from there. I guess.
Would you guys agree on the statement that it takes two person to complete a relationship?
Yes, I do agree.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole idea of bringing in relationships and having a partner, dating in this episode is actually relating to self-confidence as well, and also self-love, because I do believe before you could love someone, you have to have a certain extent of self-love, and you have to learn how to love yourself before learning how to love someone else.
Yes, definitely.
Because in a relationship, many people tend to lose themselves in order to fulfill their partner's expectations. Yeah, because like some people are too obsessed in the relationship where they try their best to satisfy everything that the partner wants of them. And in the process of loving the partner, they lose themselves.
I think to one extent, you will like have some days where you feel like you're not enough, like you feel like you're not worthy enough for your other partner, and it's pretty normal to think this way. But I feel like it's really important to try to know your boundaries and the line cross. So if you think that you you think that you are not really compatible with your partner and stuff, you have to remember to really communicate with your partner instead of just trying to lose yourself in the process. I think people tend to lose themselves because they lack of proper communication between their partners. They try to like overcloud their thoughts with these things like, oh, you're not enough for him, you're not this, you're not that. People can do better than you, other people can be a better fit for your partner. And this thing really destroys your thoughts and also in the process make you lose yourself. So I think that in order to balance this out, communication is really the key.
Yeah, I agree with what Janelle said. Communication is key to like what. Yeah, you have to talk it out with your partner if anything does happen. Because I'm quite sure it's really common for people to feel down. If you feel like you aren't confident in yourself, you would have, even if it's not your partner, you would still need to talk to someone about it. I feel have a pick me up talk. I guess you could say. I don't know.
But if that's the case, aside from the communication part, as Keng Ong said, it's about communication. But do you guys think that it also relates into accepting yourself, as in doing the best on your part first before contributing or sacrificing for your partner?
Yeah, self-love really plays a role in a relationship because, yeah, like you said, if you do not love yourself, how do you love other people? If you self-love means you accept yourself for who you are. You try to take note of your own good qualities and maybe try to improve on what you're lacking. So I think that it's really important for people to have self-love first so that they don't cloud themselves with all these bad thoughts. And this will potentially save your relationship. Yeah.
There has to be an element of confidence in yourself that you are doing your best for your partner as well, right?
Yeah.
Coming to the end of the show, do you guys have any advices for people of our age, or rather teenagers, on the issue of embracing inner beauty and also learning to love themselves before learning to love someone else?
Just accept yourself as who you are. And if you accept yourself, that's when you can lead, like, you can love other people.
Do you have any advices, Keng?
My advice, just be comfortable with yourself. just be comfortable with yourself. You don't need to change for people. Just be confident in yourself. Then you'll be happier for it. That's for sure.
It is really important to learn to love yourself and be comfortable with yourself, be confident in yourself before actually getting into a relationship, because all those counts as maturity, right?
Yep.
I guess, those are actually very important elements in order to learn to love yourself. So love yourself and live a happy life. I want to thank every one of you for staying till the end of the episode today, and also another shout out to Genel for accepting the invitation on this episode today. Follow us on Instagram at uncover_sessions. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us, give us a like, turn on the notifications button. We are also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many of your favorite podcast platforms. See you in the next episode.